Welcome to Hops News, the trusted source in beer culture news. Here's your host, Jay Brew, with special guests, the Hoppy Mommy, Lucky, and Nash.
Hey, welcome to a new episode and show of Hops News. As much as I wanted to say happy hour, that ain't who we are tonight. Good to be back. I will tell you, this week seemed like a long one. Did we miss last week? Were we here last week? It sure doesn't seem like it. I've been looking forward to this night, seems like for a couple weeks now, but definitely appreciate you joining us. We'll explain some of the change-ups here in just a few minutes, but thanks for joining us. Go ahead and take a minute, if you will, to share us, retweet us, subscribe to us on YouTube, however it is that you're watching us. Help us spread the word of Hops News. We'll be changing some things up here a little bit this episode. We don't have a guest joining us, so you're just stuck with the four of us drinking good beer. As a matter of fact, we're going to talk about our main topic is going to be our ultimate six-pack, thanks to one of our Hops News family member in the Facebook group. Mentioned that a couple of weeks ago, and I really thought the idea was thought-provoking, because I sat there the rest of the day at work thinking about my top 6 beers and how I could be drinking them right then instead of doing the work that I was doing. But we'll get to those as the evening rolls on. But appreciate you tuning in to us. Got a good episode lined up for you tonight. But before we get started on the episode, let's check in with Lucky. Lucky, how are things going in Milwaukee, Wisconsin this evening?
Things are going well. No complaints. The NBA draft is tonight if anybody cares. I'm going to be a little bit distracted by that, but not much. It's COVID, so nobody's actually there. Things are going good in Milwaukee. It's cold. Missing the summer already and getting ready for the 6 months of winter. But yeah, I'm drinking a Netflix and dill, and boy, you said good beer. I'm not gonna disagree. This is good if you really like just straight pickle juice.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. It's just straight pickle juice. I don't know what else to say.
No, it definitely is. Yeah. It lives up to the name.
Maybe if you're taking shots.
But yeah, it's going good here. How have you been, Jay? We were here last week. We missed you for sure.
Oh, that's right. That was what was Thursday. That's why it seems so long. Yeah, I would definitely appreciate you guys stepping up. That was I will tell you, and we'll talk about this here when we get all four of us. But yeah, definitely appreciate you stepping up, man. That was kind of I was in this seat, had the lights on, the camera rolling, and everything. You guys probably heard it if you were on your headsets or headphones there. But yeah, man, definitely appreciate you. Yeah, that pickle beer is. I will tell you. Yeah, it is. If you're a runner at all, running in the beer scene now is pretty big, right? Especially in some metropolitan cities, they do a lot of brewery runs. I think they call them, or beer runs, or whatever they may be called. But dude, you get done with a 10-miler and you could pull up to one of those, that fucking thing is gone in seconds.
Yeah. Well, it makes me think of like I should be drinking tequila along with it, because if I haven't said before, a Puerto Rican hooker is a tequila shot with a pickleback shot. And that's exactly what it reminds me of. I don't know what else to say. It's good. It's good if you like pickle juice.
Right.
Which I don't mind. It's just,
I've always done
it's
Jameson
literally
with
pickle
a
juice.
chaser of pickle juice in the after. That's what I've always done. Never heard of
Is that
tequila
an
or pickle juice.
Irish hooker? Tequila. I mean, pickle juice kills pretty much.
I don't know. I've just always chased Jameson with pickle juice, and that's the only time I've ever drank pickle juice, honestly.
So 2 out of the 4 people that are watching us heard Puerto Rican hooker and lost their breath for a minute. But if you haven't watched an episode of Feeling Lucky, I'm going to tell you right now.
I forget that. I forget that little live right now. I'm not on Feeling Lucky.
Yeah, I will tell you, if you haven't watched Feeling Lucky, you're missing out, man. I watched it or listened to it this morning on the way to work, and there is not. I've yet to make it to work where I listen to one of your episodes on Wednesday mornings that I don't literally consider pulling over until I get my shit together, just because of some of the crazy shit you guys say on that show, man.
That makes me feel good. That's
man.
We are. I mean, that's what we do all the time. Me, JJ, and producer Beef. So glad to hear it.
Yeah, you guys are doing
Puerto
a good
Rican
job.
hooker would just be like skimming the surface for Feeling Lucky. We get like into all kinds of different types of hookers. So
yeah, figuratively and literally.
Literally and figuratively,
yeah. All right, man. Definitely appreciate you joining us again tonight in Milwaukee. Let's go check in with Hoppy down in Orlando. Hoppy, how are things in Orlando? It's cool in the rest of the country. You guys, 70 degrees still, 60 degrees?
No,
enjoying it?
It's 63 right now. It's very chilly. My husband just took the little ones over to the in-laws, and I was like, you better put pants on. It's cold out there. So she had to run and go get pants. So it is officially the holidays, I guess. But I just poured a beer from our guest a few weeks ago, Crystal Coast Brewing. This is delicious. It's a Sunset Screwdriver Imperial Berliner Weiss. Oh, wow. And it's absolutely, I wanted to save it for the beach, honestly, but I was like, well, I'm doing sour school tonight, and this is a former guest, but it's got strawberry, tangerine, and key lime. And the key lime really comes through. I would say that is, which I love key lime. So I think this is a great sour.
Yeah, that does sound amazing. Those guys do a really good job. And it's not surprising after they're hearing their story that they grabbed the guy from Beach Mountain, because he was doing pretty good stuff there before he left. So it's not surprising that those guys are continuing to crank out with some pretty good beers. But yeah, that sounds like a great beer, especially if the key lime is pretty pronounced in it.
Yeah, it is. It's delicious. It would be, of course, every beer is better on the beach, but I feel like it even says that it was made, enjoy the taste of a Carolina sunset, fruity, tart, and full of flavor. And you can't deny how gorgeous the artwork is, because they even said when they were on that, they like take pictures of the local areas and whatnot for their labels, and so they have some gorgeous beach labels.
Awesome.
Are you drinking out of a goblet, Hoppy? What is that?
I am. That is the proper glassware
goblet?
for a Berliner Weiss, is a goblet or a chalice.
That's awesome. It looks like a crunk cup of
it does. I actually got this glass when we were in Athens, Greece. We found some awesome little bottle shop, bar, whatever. And my husband told the lady, like, oh, she collects beer caps and she loves beer. And this lady gave me a free beer, a bunch of beer caps, and 2 glasses and coasters. I was like, thanks.
That's awesome.
Hey, can't beat that. No. Awesome. Happy. How are things in Florida with the COVID thing? You guys still rocking it out, or family doing well and everybody else doing well with it?
Yeah, everybody's doing well so far, so good. In Orlando, everybody has to wear face masks everywhere, so you still got that. We're laying low right now so we can see family for Thanksgiving, because those numbers are going to go up after that. But different counties are different. We were in New Smyrna last weekend, and we drove through downtown on the way home, and they were having like a festival, and half the people were wearing masks and half weren't. Nice. So, but I went into the brewery and all the employees were wearing masks. So I don't know exactly, because I think it's different in every county, but it's interesting times, but we're still, I guess, living it up. Nothing's closed.
Yeah. Be fortunate with that. They just shut down restaurants again in Michigan. So,
wow.
Sounds like some more states will probably follow again soon, unfortunately. Appreciate you joining us. That's a great looking beer and a big ass glass you got there. Yeah.
In a chalice or a goblet. I don't know.
Awesome. Or a crunk cup. Yeah, let's go check in with Mash. Mash out in Mountain Home, Idaho. Mash, how's it going in Idaho? You guys buried up to your ass in snow yet, or what?
Nah, when it snows a few inches and it melts the same day, honestly. So, I got to grab the picks that I can get. Other than that, I've been working from home this week. COVID has hit my work center, and so I'm kind of like a quarantine slash work from home slash Idaho's getting rocked pretty good, which kind of buzzed me out because I was supposed to have a bunch of people over for Thanksgiving. There's a bunch of dorm guys who just live in the dorms away from their families. I was gonna feed them, we're all gonna hang out. So I think instead now I'm just gonna cook a fuck ton of food, and I'm just gonna hand deliver Thanksgiving meals to a bunch of people on Thanksgiving now. So it's kind of what I have going on lately.
Yeah, let's write to Thanksgiving whatever our plans are, and we can talk about that a little bit later in the episode too as a group. That's a good idea because that's coming right around the corner as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But I got a couple good beers tonight. I'm finishing up a good New Glarus Spotted Cow. Always a good crushable beer. And then on deck is one from, I've been holding out on this beer. It's hitting like the 5 or 6 month mark, so I kind of have to drink it. It's from Definitive. I've been holding on to this, really hoping that they would answer me and come on as a guest, but alas, none such luck. So I'm gonna enjoy it tonight, and you may see a couple of beers on my 6-pack list. Spoiler alert, you never know. Other than that, it's living life, I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, appreciate you joining us, and we'll talk about it a little bit now that we had the 4 of us back in there. Mash, appreciate you picking up the ball last week. Right before we literally, I don't know how much you guys talked about it because I really didn't have a chance to listen, but the 4 of us was sitting here. I was in front of the camera, lights on. Mike was hot. Thursday was our daughter's 10th birthday, and we walked in the door. I started setting up right away. I sat down, and just over my left shoulder to my left here is usually where our guinea pig's cage is at. And she's usually in there raising hell, and I'm worried about, how much noise she's going to make and everything else. And didn't see her, so I asked our daughter to come in here and check on Piggy, and as you guys 4 probably heard it if you had your headsets on, she let out a blood-curdling scream, and our night changed drastically. And I will tell you, when you have a 10-year-old daughter that's had a guinea pig 6 out of her 10 years of being alive, it makes for a rough week. There's not been a night that she hasn't cried herself to sleep. So it's been interesting. It's tough lessons as a parent. I think everybody here but Lucky is a parent, and if you haven't experienced this,
dad.
Yeah, if you
Pretty
haven't,
much the same.
yeah, if you haven't experienced it with a child, it will definitely humble you and change you for sure, because that loss to a child is pretty real. But it's been a good learning experience for her, a life lesson, and definitely appreciate you guys picking up that ball and running with it last week, especially last minute, Mash. I know that wasn't easy, but definitely appreciate you guys being there to take one for the team.
He pulled it together. He did it. And we had great guests. If anybody hasn't watched, I definitely recommend finding it on YouTube and watching.
Yeah, Danny's always a good guest, and Lucky and I chatted a little bit with her at the end of the show when I stepped back on to shut everything down, and we may talk about it here a little bit later, so stick around to hear about that. But let's not get too wrapped up in that. Let's talk about what to expect with this new style of show. I'll be honest with you, where we were at in Happy Hour, I think became very much a labor of love for a lot of people. On this side of the camera, lining up guests is not as easy as one might think. Relying on them to be here on time and to do everything that we were doing it's not easy, guys. I can't express that enough. Mash has done a really, really good job of doing that for us very early in where we come out of COVID and started this show and the live stream. But lining up guests like that is not easy. And another thing about guests, some guests, Danny's one of them, we could talk for 3 hours and have a very engaging conversation. Other guests, after 5 minutes, I was ready to go. Just being very frank about it.
And these are the guests. We're going to name them now.
Some names. Yeah.
No, we definitely won't call out any names because I think they were good sports about it. But there's some people that are engaging and some that aren't, right? And the times that weren't was very painful. I didn't, I don't think we did a very good job of setting up expectations, maybe a little bit, but now the expectations are pretty easy. If we have a guest on, it will be a short, this is what they're going to do, 5 or 10 minutes, kind of a news type situation, unless it's somebody really special that we just want to feature for an hour and have developed a relationship with him. But I think that where we're headed with this show, you're going to get to know a little bit more about us. We'll get to know a lot more about you guys because we will be bringing on the Sip of Sunshine level Patreons a little bit more often to be more involved in what we're doing. But we won't rely on guests so much, and we'll bring back some of the favorite segments that everybody always commented enjoyed. Beer news, again, will be a real thing on Hops News. And beer school. I will tell you, I really enjoyed Hoppy's beer school because I am not by the least bit a beer nerd at all. I enjoy beer, I enjoy the industry, and I enjoy the people that work in it, but I don't know beer probably like I should being on a show like this. But kind of looking forward. That's my look on it and my approach. And Mash, let's get your point of view and kind of how you feel about it and where we've been and where you want to go with the new show.
Yeah, for sure. So I love talking to the guests. Of course, it's always a great time, and it was a lot of fun getting to know a lot of our guests and talking to them and lining it up. It was a little hard, yeah. Like you said, especially through the phone, it's a little more difficult, right, to really engage with the guest. And so it's nice to kind of take that step back. And I think what we're gonna do is possibly even put these up on like the podcast streaming sites as well, along with Feeling Lucky, Hops Geek. So there's gonna be a lot of different arrays. So if you miss the show, you'll be able to catch it afterwards, and it's more the podcast kind of formula while also keeping the things that we love. So you miss a part of beer school and you want to re-listen to it, but you can't get to YouTube. Well, there'll be plenty more opportunities for that. And then it's going to make bringing the guests on to me a little more personal or meaningful because they're not going to be so often as they were like every week. Like, all right, same questions recycled in and out. You know what you're going to expect. Whereas the guests that we do bring on once in a while, we're gonna have some different questions. I feel like it's gonna be more engaging and a lot of fun for the people who are invested in what we do, because we all love kind of talking about this. We love getting together, and this has really brought us all kind of like we've made good friends with each other. So
Right. Yeah, we're not getting paid, so it's got to be fun.
Yeah. I mean, we're not getting paid by the stretch. No, and it's a lot of fun getting drinking beers with friends and then kind of interacting with everybody at the same time.
Right. Especially at a time when social interactions are very much so limited in comparison to the norm.
Yeah,
This is
For sure.
the most social interaction I have throughout the week outside of the weekend. So
yeah.
very
And
much appreciate it.
to elaborate a little bit on what Mash was talking about, one thing that we found ourselves in the position of is that there would be very interesting news in the beer industry that would happen 2 or 3 days before we went live, but we already had a guest lined up, already told them they could be on the full hour. We would have loved to have been in a position to reach out to somebody involved in that brewery, that issue that was breaking the news, to say, hey, we would love to have you guys on Thursday night to talk about this that was just announced, whatever it may be. Mergers, closures, there's a lot of things that happened in the beer industry news-wise that we would like to honestly be able to showcase over than just a guest that's on and talks for a full hour. So I think that aspect about what we're doing and what we could do, I think we will be better positioned to be able to do things like that for sure. Right. Hoppy, what's your take? What are you looking forward to? What are some things that you're looking forward to and the expectations?
I am looking forward into getting more into the beer school. I can't promise one every week, but I think it'll be nice to, like Mash was saying, break it up where you have a guest. The guest could take that hour because the beer school is time consuming. I was able to do it over the summer because the kids weren't in school, but I also miss researching that stuff. If I have like a goal in mind, I'm like, well, I got to, at the end of the day, I love putting it all together and I love learning it. So I'm definitely excited to bring that back, but I also love that the guests now come on the screen as well. So I think a mixture of having the guests appear, be on there for the full hour. If there was sudden breaking news that was worth mentioning, I think we should still mention that with, the guests.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you pulled Sawstone in last minute, which was great when they were going through that whole well, I'm sure they're still going through that whole Stone lawsuit. But yeah, that was an amazing opportunity to be able to do that. So hopefully we can do more things like that in the future. But yeah, I think just mixing it up and keeping it, keeping us on our toes and keeping our guests on our toes. We have this, they get to know us, and then we have a guest and switch it in and out. So yeah, I think it's a great idea.
That's the biggest thing for me is I feel like they get to know who we are more so than just, the generic talking to a guest. You get to more know of us, and that makes this more personal. Because if you're not a part of our Patreon or Hops News family, then you don't really get to know who we are as people, and then so you're not as engaged, I feel like. So now they get to know who we are more so, and that I think that's also gonna, people appreciate
right.
Yeah.
But I've loved every guest we've had. There's been something about that guest that I just loved, hearing about. Like, I can't get enough of brewery tours and everything. So yeah, I think the combination of both is, I think that'll be really cool.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I appreciated them. Yeah, for sure. I appreciated the guest and I enjoyed them. But as you guys know, some of them was a lot work just to keep the conversation rolling. And that, when we were involved in nights like that, it was like, man, we could end the show 15 minutes early and it wouldn't bother me one bit. But usually, early in what we were doing, we were going 2 hours and it was nothing.
Right.
So
I think it's the comfort level of that guest.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to those nights again when we're just rambling along. Next thing you know, we're on here for 90 minutes, and we got to think about work and everything else the next day again. But yeah, definitely, I think the mixture is going to be good, Hoppy. I think keeping us on our toes and the listeners and the viewers on their toes as well will be great. Lucky, what are you looking forward to with the new format, and what's some things that come across your mind from the past format?
Yeah, so you mentioned the 2 hours. I enjoyed when we had the 2 hours more, because my favorite part of the happy hour was getting to talk to you guys and hang out with you guys. So that's I'm kind of glad that we're going to be switching things up, because I feel like I have loved majority of the guests. I don't think there's any that I didn't like, but there were nights where I was just sitting here kind of zoning out, or it wasn't keeping my attention. So if it's not keeping mine and I'm on the show, then it's probably hard for people that are watching and not on it.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited to just get back to bullshitting with you guys, and that part is really what I'm looking forward to, because it feels like, we tried to do that. That's what we tried to have the after hours for, but everybody's got stuff going on, and so I'm cutting out that time in addition to this show and all of that. It's tough. So I'm really looking forward to the new format. I was maybe someone that I don't know that I suggested it or anything, but I for sure am happy that we're doing it. So,
yeah. And Thursday nights, I don't know that we'll have it tomorrow. We will try. We are going to try to have a virtual happy hour where we open up a Zoom to right now, the whole Hops News followers. I would imagine here soon that we'll close it down to just involve the Hops News family members and go from there. But initially we'll open it up to everybody. We'll post it. We'll make it open. We'll control the access so we can let people in and out if there's any
doctors trying to sell medication.
Doctors trying to sell medication, or news reporters that are stroking off, or whatever that may be, that joins us. We can at least kick them out if need be, and they're just not having the run of the mill of the place. But it should be good. The happy hour, I think, with Zoom and to be able to get people on, because I'll be honest with you guys, one part that I want to have the experience of, and the thing that I really liked about the Zoom after hours, was hearing from people that are watching us and listening to us and learning what they're drinking and what's kind of the new trend in there. To be honest with you, I think we could generate a lot of content if we if the four of us had the opportunity to sit back and listen and observe what's going on in other people's communities. I think we could definitely provide some content on what is going on out there locally, and that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. Another thing I'm looking forward to is putting this on a podcast. I know Mash has been beating that drum for a while. In the beginning, I tried, but there's a lot of things. If you were in my seat right now, I'm looking at 3 screens and there's 6 programs that are running, doing what we're doing right now, and it's a lot for me to keep up with. And I would try to do it in the beginning, and I would all honesty, I would forget to hit record. And once you forget to hit record, it just becomes kind of like one of those things that's always there. I kept forgetting to hit the record when I would remember it was halfway through the episodes. I think I've got things set up a little bit better now. Going into this new show it should be a little bit automated for me to help me capture this content and get it out there on podcast. So definitely looking forward to that. I think it'll be a good mix with the Geeks News and the Feeling Lucky to kind of mix this podcast in with the rest of our podcast. I will tell you, our podcast channels are working hard, man. They are getting some traction out there.
Nice.
A lot of podcast consumers out there. So it's good to see, and I'm looking forward to adding this episode on there. It'll be kind of our premiere episode for Hops News, kind of a rebirth of sorts for us with that, but should be pretty good.
I'm excited.
Yeah, to piggyback on what you said, that was always one of my favorite
don't
parts
say that
too, was
word.
when we could
Piggyback.
Any commander's call you will ever go to in the military in your life, you'll have the higher ups who are talking, and then you'll have the next lower one that's like, just to piggyback off of what this person said, and then the next person feels like they have to say something, and it's like, just to piggyback off, and it's just you're like, shut the fuck up and cut it out already. We fucking get it. You all say the same thing 7 different ways. We get it, dude. Just cut it out.
I was like, what a random thing to not like. Now I get it.
And boy, you're heated about it.
Oh my god! Any commander's call you go to, it's sorry.
See, we're already learning new things about MASH. We did not see this coming.
That
PSD.
I don't know what to say now. But following,
I'm so sorry.
You
said piggyback, and I just was like,
so to follow what Jay said, that was always one of my favorite parts too, was interacting with the comments and the people in the comments. And I think if we're doing a Zoom happy hour, that'll be, it's the comments, but actual people that we're talking to, and they'll be able to comment with us, I guess. And I think that'll be awesome. So I'm excited for that.
What I think will be cool is you guys, Geeks and Lucky, Feeling Lucky, obviously has their own following. It'll be great if those people that follow each one of you start to show up in the Zoom happy hour or happy hour and start to interact, right? Because they're all, every show that we're producing kind of has their own niche, very niche market that we're targeting and segmenting with the content that we're putting out there. So it'll be pretty interesting to see how that flows for sure. And the Feeling Lucky crowd, I can tell you right now, holy shit, man.
Perverts. They're all just perverts.
I was going to say, should that be broadcast?
Yeah. I'm just waiting for the day that Apple or one of those send us a letter and what the fuck was it that you guys were talking about last night?
Will be my shining moment, my peak moment. I might just retire on the spot because that's my dream, to get canceled by Apple or somebody.
To get canceled. Was it Matt and I had didn't we have some sort of rating on YouTube for one of our episodes?
Oh, we've had a few episodes that have the explicit there. Not down to brag or anything for us old folks. But, we've said a couple of F words, and so children, watch out, all right?
It must just be the occasional F-bombs that we drop when we're getting in heated arguments about who's worse, Jessica Jones or Iron Fist. It's Iron Fist.
Not every comic book is meant for kids, okay?
I would probably disagree with you on that, Hoppy.
Oh, you guys are...
Next.
Come on, I'm the immortal Iron Fist. Really? Yeah, there's a whole episode about it.
Jessica Jones, I have drinking problems. Oh, no.
She's gone through a lot of difficult stuff in her life. She should have a drinking problem. Meanwhile, the immortal Iron Fist.
You like Jessica Jones more than Iron Fist. Then I'm misunderstood. I'm on Hoppy's side. I retract that statement. Sorry, Mash.
He thinks
Iron Fist is the
attractive.
worst.
That's the only reason why he's rooting for this.
I think what's attractive?
Kristen Ritter, Jessica Jones, you'd smash. That's the only reason why you're on her side.
Boy,
it also has David Tennant.
Fist, man.
Jessica!
Iron Fist wasn't. First of all, Iron Fist wasn't good. Okay, Iron Fist wasn't good. But just go back and listen to that episode and tell me what you think. We're not getting into it tonight because we have beer school and we also have news.
Let's go.
Like chat
Speaking
is
of
not
beer
like an
school,
Iron Fist.
let's go check in with Hoppy for our first
Yes.
beer school back at it. I'm looking forward to this one, Hoppy. What do you
All right,
have
so
for
this-
beer school?
Beer school today is sours. So I actually did this beer school, put it together back in July. And then we ended up nixing it because we got Sawstone on last minute, which was awesome. However, there will be a part that I am talking that you guys might find humorous if you've seen the last couple of episodes. So when I get there, I'm sure Lucky will have a comment. Okay. Sours. If you caught our last international episode, which is now months ago, then you know all about Goza beer. So oh God, I wrote piggyback. So to piggyback on that, we're going to go over a few other sour styles and how they
Need a
differ.
cigarette.
Once again, feel free to take a sip anytime I attempt to say something science-y or German or Belgium. Sours, I think, are the strangest style of beer because the ingredients that make them can also ruin other beer styles. Nevertheless, they tend to get more and more popular every year, and I'm not going to lie, they have grown on me tremendously over the last year. Before we get into different kinds, though, let's learn what the hell makes them so different. So, bacteria in yeast. Lactobacillus. Drink. We learned about this during Goza beer school, but real quick, this is a bacteria strain that also causes a sour taste. When it ferments, it creates lactic acid rather than alcohol, like yeast does. This causes an acidic or sour flavor. For example, lactobacillus gives yogurt its sour taste. Pediococcus. I might also be butchering these, I don't know. This is another bacteria, and it creates diactyl, which creates flavors like butterscotch or butter. Butter generally means the beer is off, but diactyl, combined with Brettanomyces, produces lactic acid, thereby making a sour flavor as well. Brettanomyces. So this is a wild yeast strain also known as Brett, and I think it's probably the most popular one that a lot of people know. This yeast strain never gets full, and it will eat almost anything. It lives on the skin of fruit and can mean ultimate demise for wine and some beers. It does not create a sour taste, but it gives the beer an earthy, horsey leather smell. Brett is easier to control in steel kegs as it can actually hide in wooden kegs. However, it's not fully controllable. Michael Jackson, not the king of pop, compared Brett to a cat, saying that it would, quote, do its own thing. It's not going to come when you call it and sit when you say sit. If you can respect its individuality and suggest rather than dictate what it does in your fermentation, it can reward the brewer and the drinker. All right, so beware of these ingredients. Many breweries have paid dearly for certain bacteria and yeast strains getting loose. In 2015, Goose Island paid more in refunds than they received in profits when their Bourbon County coffee and barley wine were found to be tainted with a specific strain of lactobacillus called acetaldehyde. I don't even know. I'll put this on the website tomorrow so you can actually see some of these words. It took 3 months and 4 labs to figure out what the hell went wrong. They believe the culprit was a tainted keg that then spread around, and it was an extensive and expensive cleanup. All right, so types of sours and a few fun facts about each one. Lambic. When talking about lambic, you have to mention Belgium because that is the only place that true lambics are brewed. This style has been brewed fairly the same for almost 1,000 years, possibly even longer. The hops they use, and this feels very, very wrong, are old stale hops. This allows the beer to get the preservative characteristic, but no aroma or bitterness from the hop. Lambics are fermented using wild fermentation. So normally when brewing, once the wort is done, you add some yeast and you let the beer ferment in a closed container. Not lambics. Once the wort is done, it is left open in an open fermenter with windows open all night, hence wild fermentation, because wild yeast and bacteria find the wort and treat it like an all-you-can-eat buffet. This is not done during the summer months because then you could get the wrong kind of bacteria and yeast finding its way into the wort. After this is done, the lambic is put into wooden kegs and left to age for a few years. Straight lambic can have a strong vinegar taste, so it is often fermented with fruit. Different fruits result in all sorts of different names. Cassis, which has black currants, crike, which has sour cherries, and palm, which has apple, etc. So those are 3 quick sips you have to take if you're playing the game. Okay, gueuze. This is the result of old and young lambics being combined. Belgians compare this style to sparkling wine. Flanders Red Ale. So these beers come from the Dutch-speaking part of Belgium called Flanders. This ale gets its red color from the combination of light and dark barley malts. Once the yeast and bacteria have been added, it generally ages for up to 2 years in oak tanks, then it's mixed with a younger version. They can also be known as the Burgundies of Belgium. Now, one example is a Flanders red ale called Duchess de Bourgogne. I will never forget the first time I had this beer because it had such a vinegar taste that it tasted like balsamic vinaigrette, and I poured it on my salad.
No. I knew that's where this was going.
Here we go again.
I wrote this months
we
ago.
can't bring this up like 3 weeks in a row. Please.
I wrote this months ago. I had to mention. Okay, Flanders Ode Bruin. This is red ale's neighbor. Ode Bruin just means old brown. I know my dad is going to tell me all the words I said wrong later. So, Dad, you're probably going to have to take notes for this one because I'm sure I'm butchering all these words. So this style uses darker malts and was described in a book I read as tasting like Sour Patch Kids. This beer also involves some aging and a combination of young and old batches. Berliner Weiss, what I am drinking right now. This one can be deceiving for those Hefeweizen and Belgian white lovers. I've had a friend who was very angry at herself after she ordered a Berliner Weiss for the second time on different days and expected a classic German wheat beer. So I think more people are starting to know different styles, but I feel like that's a big common one that people make that are German wheat beer fans. While it is a classic German wheat beer, it is also a sour and tastes nothing like a Hefeweizen that most of us Americans would expect to taste. So Berliner Weiss usually gets its sour flavor from lactobacillus and is traditionally served with syrup. To me, that makes it sound like a sour, boozy Shirley Temple, but if COVID ever ends, I'll head to Germany and try it. They also sometimes serve it in a bowl with a straw over in Europe. Like Goza, the style was a bit dormant for years and has recently grown in popularity. Napoleon's military nicknamed this style the Champagne of the North. I have to say it like that. I don't know every time you say of the North.
And they're all dead, so.
The Champagne of the North. Yeah, they lost and they're all dead. Okay. All right, Goza. This is a milder version of Berliner Weiss with salt and coriander. It sounds off, but it works. And if you want to know more about that, we did a hoppy hour months ago. It's in one of the beer schools. I'll have to find that and separate all those. And then we're going to end with American sours, which is basically everything I have mentioned, but with flair. Berliner Weiss style beers here are generally brewed with a sour kettle. We are also seeing different styles blended together, like you have sour IPAs. Allagash has even attempted some wild fermentation, and some breweries even specialize in sours now. We're also seeing very crazy colored sours. This really is there's no set way to describe an American sour. We're all over the place. So I will just say, try them all. You never know what you're going to like or what you don't like. And that's pretty much it. And if you are, I make another comment about pouring beer on salad. I'll just not say that one. And in case you're still sober, Lactobacillus, Berliner Weiss, Brettanomyces, Goza, and Prost.
Yay.
Cheers.
I knew Lucky was going to get on you. As soon as I heard you going down that track.
Jay,
well, I was rereading this while we were getting ready to go live, and I just kind of chuckled to myself when I came across that part.
It's unreal. That is still one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard.
Don't knock it till you tried it.
Went to the Hornets.
I will continue to knock it, and I probably will never try it.
You're drinking a beer that tastes like pickle juice.
Yeah, you sicko.
Right.
No, I have one more fun fact. So this container right here, I got from my grandmother.
It's a vase
like
for flowers.
That's what
it's not a vase for flowers.
What I thought. I'm pretty sure my grandma has that.
She puts flowers in
there
in the meantime.
When my grandmother was downsizing, she moving into assisted living facility, she was like, take whatever you want. So I was like, oh, this is cool. I'll take this. And then a few years later, we were in Denmark, and they had this at War Pigs Brew Pub, which is Three Floyds and Mickler, and they had it up next to Growlers. And I said, excuse me, what is that? Why is that up there? It's for lambics.
No, it's what you probably ferment your salad beer in, you sicko.
That's a Fred Flanders ale. That's not a lambic.
I'm looking for a new co-host on Hopskeep, by the way. Anybody?
Yeah.
So this gets displayed with my growlers now.
I'm depraved, but that's just a whole new level.
So since everybody's bashing on Hoppy's vinegar beer, let's talk about some of your ultimates then, Lucky. Bottom three. Give us your bottom three, Lucky.
So bottom three, I know I'm going to get shit for this because...
Wait, bottom three, like the least three favorite beers, or like...
The bottom three out of your six. So the ultimate six. Let's go back to the four of us. When I think about the ultimate six, let's talk about that first.
It's
right?
Like I
ultimate
spent such a long time today thinking about this. Like it's not even funny.
So what comes across your mind when you think about ultimate six? What when somebody
To
says,
me,
"What's your
I think of
ultimate six
Tom
beer?"
Brady. Oh no, I don't.
What?
I
I
would
don't.
say
I hate Tom
Oh
Brady.
my god.
if you could only drink 6 beers ever again, these are the 6 beers I'd be happy
Yeah.
with only
6
drinking.
beers to take on a deserted
So
island with you that you're going to be stranded with Wilson.
Okay, so then
that's kind of, but that's
yeah. Okay.
See, that might change
Shut the
my
fuck
answers.
up, Lucky.
That
What?
might
That's
change
why
my
I
answers.
had
I don't-
variety
You
well,
of
had
them.
maybe not,
literally
maybe not.
all day.
Okay, we've
I
got a
have
few
this.
viewers
No, I
out
got
there.
variety.
When somebody asks you your ultimate six, what comes across your mind? Go ahead and chime in. We'll read it out loud
I
to
got
the group.
my 6.
Lucky, what's your
I've got 6.
when somebody asks you for your ultimate six, what do you think about then? If it's not
Well,
like
like,
your 6 stranded on the island beers, what comes to
Like
mind
if
for you?
if I'm like on my deathbed, these are the last 6 beers that I have before like I die tomorrow. What do I want to put into my mouth? That's different than like what I'm going to be
strippers.
drinking forever. Like
Yeah, but I don't think you're going to be too concerned about beer if that's the case for you.
Listen, you're thinking too much about
I
this.
don't know, man.
Thinking
Going-
way too much of this,
I
my
mean, that's
friend.
what we do on Feeling Lucky. But
I've heard
that's-
feeling lucky. You're not putting beer in your mouth if you're on your deathbed.
Listen, this is you're gonna
I'll
say,
be putting a Puerto Rican hooker in my mouth.
Oh.
say
The tequila.
it's your
version.
last night before you're gonna go somewhere
Hey,
for like a year.
probably
These are the
2
only
or
6
3
beers
of
you can
them.
have.
Probably 2 or 3 of them Puerto Rican hookers in your mouth. if you're-
Yes.
All right, my husband just texted me that they're watching us on the screen at my in-laws with the kids. I'm like, turn it off now. You guys keep
quick. Lucky's on. Turn it off.
turn it off. Bye, guys. I love you. Hang up.
Yeah, for sure. So let's go to
About
Lucky. Now that we
Legos.
have it out of the way, Lucky, what's kind of on the bottom? What's on the left-hand side of your ultimate six?
I would say the ones that were hard. I guess the ones that were hardest for me to pick. One of them was Titletown Johnny Blood Red.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
Nash knows what that is. I
sent us that
absolutely
one.
love that beer.
Oh
I
my
know,
god, that beer is so good.
That's usually in the beer exchanges that I've done. That's usually in the first round for me. I mean, I think
As it
all of these,
should
not
be.
maybe not all of these, but most of these have been in that. But yeah, that's like that was one that was just hard to pick because like it's a red. I believe it's a red, amber red.
Yeah, it's
Johnny
a red
Blood,
ale.
red ale. Sorry, but that it's just hard. There's so many good ones out there. I had to go through a couple of those to figure it out. Another one, this one isn't a Milwaukee one. I didn't try to do all Milwaukee ones. It's just like the other thing that was hard was I've gotten so much good beer in the beer exchange with the Hops News family. Putting those in feels almost disingenuous because I've only had them once.
So you're saying the Netflix and Dill would be in your six then?
No. It's just like hard to put one of those in because like a lot of them are really, really good, but like I haven't had multiple of them, most of them.
So what 6 are you taking with you on a year-long journey?
Yep. So Titletown, Johnny Blood Red, 3 Floyd, Zombie Dust is on there. That's probably my favorite
Solid choice.
pale ale out there. I absolutely love that. And another reason I picked that was like all of the IPAs that I have. It's like the ex-girlfriend, like that you always compare it to. Like, oh, I don't know if I'm still in love with her, but like she's not like that. The Zombie Dust is what I compare pretty much all IPAs to. Like, is it as good as Zombie Dust? Is it whatever? So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I saw it.
Yeah, we've done that with Pliny before. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one was the City Lights Coconut Porter. I believe I've also sent you guys that
Yep.
one.
I've had that
That's
one. It's a
gotta
good
be.
one.
I mean, that's just a porter that I can drink all day, every day. It's
So that's 3,
so
right?
good.
That's
Yep,
3
that's
of your
3.
6.
That's the 3 that were probably the hardest for me.
All right, let's go check in with Mashes. What Mash on the left side of your 6-pack? What do you have?
Yeah. All right. So first one up is I have Western Collective's Little Ripper. It's a newer beer. I'm putting on there because it tastes a lot like your pineapple, things like that, and I love pineapple. My next one is going to be the Sam Adams Boston Brick Red, and that one is one that you can only get at the brewery, and it's kind of I love red ales. They're one of my favorites, and that's exactly what this is. And so it's incredible, delicious. If you ever get to the brewery, or if I ever get there and can get you guys some, that's what I recommend. Third, I will say the definitive ale IPA. It's the to go to for the definitive brewery. They're like one of my favorite breweries out there, and they are like the most up and coming. And I'm not drinking that one tonight, but that was my introduction to definitive and all their amazing beers, and that is one that I will always, always, always go to when I'm just looking for a good like session IPA. So those are my 3 on the bottom of the list.
Awesome. That's a solid list to begin with. Hoppy, yours. What's your bottom 3 or the left hand side of this 6-pack look like?
I've picked out 6 and that was hard enough. So to pick my bottom 3 is even more difficult. All right, so my bottom 3, and this is, keep in mind, it's still my top 6, is going to be Calusa Brewing Citronius New England IPA. I think, Mash, you actually got that one from my mom.
I haven't drank it yet, but it is still there, yes.
The sooner you drink it, the better it'll be. And then it'll be the Alchemist Focal Banger IPA. And then I had to go one classic German beer, so I did Warsteiner Oktoberfest. Now the Marzen, not the Fest beer, so the actual Oktoberfest. So those would be my bottom 3.
Interesting list. So I will match Hoppy with one of them on my bottom 3, and that's the Alchemist Focal Banger. That is a great IPA. I mean,
yes, it is.
If that's the last IPA I could ever drink, I would be very content with that IPA. Also, Lagunitas Hop Stupid. I know this is crazy because most of you can find it in your local stores, but god damn, that's the best IPA for the money. I mean, you can get a bomber, I think now, probably still for under $3 at some locations. $3.80, $3.90 maybe at others. I just think for what Lagunitas is doing with that beer and how cheap it is a great beer. So that's definitely there for me. Also, this is probably going to be no surprise to anybody that's listened for more than one episode. A&B's Lager, Appalachian Mountain Brewery's Lager. I mean, that fucking beer could suffice for water for me. I could drink the shit out of that and still function and fight my way off the deserted island or wherever the hell we're stranded at. So that's my bottom 3. Like I said, there are not a lot of sexy ones in there, probably other than the Focal Banger, but
hey, just get the dub, baby.
Yep, that's all we're looking for. Lucky, top 3. Let's get into the money round.
Oh, see, I'm already
not to be confused with money shots.
I'm already rethinking this.
This is tough. Okay, so the top 3. My first pick was Mobcraft's Batshit Crazy. I believe
that beer was
that
amazing.
To you guys
yes.
as well.
Yeah, that was fuck, is so good.
The best.
It was
fantastic.
fantastic.
Stout I've ever had. It's so good. That was just the first one that popped into my head. I don't know why. Probably because it's Mobcraft and they're always on my mind.
Fair.
The next one I think Mash is gonna not like because it's New Glarus Strawberry Rhubarb Fruit Beer.
I haven't had it yet.
Did I not send that to you?
No.
I know you guys talked about that one. I'm
Mash.
feeling lucky.
I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah,
I've had one of their raspberry ones, which is wicked good, but I haven't had the
raspberry tart. Raspberry tart and the strawberry rhubarb are, I think, it's tough to say that because I drink so much Spotted Cow. Spotted Cow, I could drink all day. I mean, I do drink like all day, every day. That's like when I am wanting water, I just get a Spotted Cow because to me, it's the same thing. It's just, it's so good. So I put strawberry rhubarb on there just because it's like, it's different. And,
you want some variety.
Yeah, variety. And so the last one is a Potosi Steamboat Shanty. And don't look this up on Untapped. I don't think I've sent it to any of you guys. So I took this to a girl's house one time, and like her family was like big beer drinkers. And Potosi is like, it was the only brewery within however many miles of my college. It was like the closest one. But it's like beer drinkers absolutely hate it. Like people that are love beer hate the Steamboat Shanty. I absolutely love it. And
I would be interested in trying.
I just looked it up.
Don't look it up on Untapped because
you shouldn't have told me not to because I did.
The ratings, like abysmal. I don't understand it.
3.27.
Yeah,
But
which is
you gotta.
crazy.
But some people are just like obnoxious when it comes to Untapped, and they're like, "Oh, this isn't an
Yeah.
IPA, so
Don't
I'm
take
gonna rate it
Untapped to
this."
heart.
So yes,
Well, yeah,
but it,
I don't know, but I did. So I took it to like this girl's and like her because I knew her family was big beer drinkers, and I don't know if I was trying to impress them with something that they haven't had, but
And he
every
said,
single one of
"You're
them
never dating my
absolutely
daughter."
hated it. They absolutely hated it, and it was like well, fuck me, I guess. I don't know. I don't talk to her anymore.
what does
So
it
She
taste
was
like?
like, "I
Lemonade?
won't be."
it's like it's somehow a sweeter summer shandy, like a Leinenkugel summer shandy, if you ever had that.
Mhm.
But
Interesting.
it's just I love it. I can drink them all day, every day. So yeah, that rounds out my 6. Batshit Crazy, Strawberry Rhubarb, Steamboat Shanty, Coconut Porter, Zombie Dust, and Johnny Blood Red.
Solid choices. Solid choices.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to trying some more of those on your list.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you guys have had 3 or 4, I think.
Nice.
At
Something like
least
that.
3, maybe 4. But yeah, for sure.
I think, yeah, I think almost all. You sent us Batshit Crazy. You sent us 3 Floyds, Johnny Blood, and I believe the Coconut Porter.
Yep.
Johnny Blood.
Yeah, those that would
Fond
make
memories
sense.
of drinking that at Lambeau.
Yeah, I believe that would have been in like the first beer exchange that we all did together. just
Yeah.
the 4 of us, because those are 4 of my favorites.
Mash,
Well-
top 3. What do we have from Mash?
All right, we're obviously gonna go Shipyard Pumpkinhead here because that is. Come on, I'm not leaving it out. You know me by now. You should. Next, I am doing the Nuclear Spotted Cow. That's basically water. That is like if Jesus came to me right now and was like, "I'm turning this water into wine." That's what this is. Spotted Cow. This is Jesus's juice.
You having that
Oh.
makes me feel so bad about myself. Like that should be in my top 6. I
Don't worry
know.
about
I
it.
don't
You
know.
get it
I
all
don't
the
know.
time. I get it whenever it gets sent to me. So
Maybe that's it. I
Um,
drink it 7 times a week, and so I'm
That's
just
also, yeah.
used to it.
that's
Yeah.
also my wife's favorite one. So I have a case in it of it still. We've been hoarding because it's our favorite. So last but not least, Treehouse Impermanence Imperial Milk Stout with chocolate, maple, and coffee. Now, Treehouse is like the goat of New England beers. It is like everybody treks to Treehouse. That is the one place everybody will go to. And so I had the opportunity to go to the brewery a couple times, being that I'm from Mass. And yeah, this beer is just holy. It is an orgasm in your mouth. No joke. It is, oh my God. If there's one beer I could just drink forever, it's this one because it has everything I love in it. It's a good stout. It doesn't hit you too hard with the sweet overtones. So that's yeah. It's the definitive ale IPA, Shipyard Pumpkinhead, Spotted Cow, Western Collective's Little Ripper, Sam Adams Boston Brick Red, and then the Treehouse Milk Stout with chocolate, maple, and coffee. Those are my 6.
Nice.
Yeah,
I've
that's
only
a-
had Treehouse hoppy beers, so that
Ooh,
definitely need to try something
They're
else.
seasonal. Oh man.
So for those that are commenting in the chat there, Micah is definitely in the Patreon group. If you're looking to try any of these beers that are mentioned by these guys, join us there at the Hops News family. We can definitely, these guys can definitely get access to those beers that they're talking about there and get you hooked up. Hoppy, top 3.
Okay, so my top 3 are, well, not all of them I can get hooked up. One of them is Tactical Brewing Ghost Blimp. It's a double New England IPA. It's a brewery that's local here, but they don't have it all the time. They announced today they're going to be putting out new cans soon, so I'm hoping Ghost Blimp is in there. It is just one of those New England IPAs that you're just like, it's just perfect. It's perfection. It is what a New England IPA should be, even though we're in Orlando. Sorry, Mash. And then I put literally anything from Hill Farmstead. It could be a sour. It could be a hoppy beer. I've only been to the brewery once. I brought home Arthur, which is, I think, farmhouse style kind of sour. But I would literally take any bottle there to my desert island and drink it. And my last one is Funky Buddha Last Buffalo in the Park. It is an imperial bourbon barrel aged version of their Last Snow, which is a porter. And anybody who's had Last Snow or last Buffalo in the Park, it's absolutely amazing. It's Funky Buddha was one of the first breweries in Florida that got big. They're now owned by the same people that own Corona, but not the disease, the beer. But it's withstood the test of time. It's still great. I even have some bottles from before they sold that are aging in my closet, and I'll have to drink them next time we do a Sunday morning happy hour or hoppy hour.
Yeah, for sure. That is a Funky Buddha. That's a brewery that has been around for a while and has some staying power.
Yeah.
Mine kind of follow yours a little bit with the Funky Buddha. Right? Uh-oh.
Sorry, that was my beer
Party
fridge. That's
foul.
good.
Hobby, you all right down there?
Yeah, I didn't realize my stool was right next to my beer fridge. I'm just getting another beer. I'm good.
So my top three. Number 3, Lawson Sip of Sunshine. I don't think that needs much explanation.
No.
That could have been on there if I hadn't only had it once. I love that beer.
Yeah, that is I had it again fresh. Went camping a couple of weeks ago. Have some friends that she grew up, born and raised in Vermont. He just come back from there, and he never comes back without a pickup truck bed full of New England beer, Vermont beer. I will tell you that night around the campfire was very enjoyable. Had some Alchemist, some Lawson's. Sip of Sunshine was one of them. Really enjoyed that. He's not a viewer. I'd thank him, Carrie, Dr. Carrie Payne. That was very much appreciated. My next two are probably going to be a surprise to some people that don't know me, but you see the brewery in the back. See the brewery behind me.
Founders. I've been there.
Founders Brewing. My favorite style of beer is stout. And I have yet to find anybody that does stouts like Founders Brewing. I started out the evening with my number 2, which is the breakfast stout. It is the most solid stout ever brewed. I mean, they do a lot with this stout that ends up becoming some great variants, but that stout there alone is phenomenal. Number 1 on my list is this beer here has come and gone a few times, and I've heard it's back again. CBS, Canadian Breakfast Stout by Founders. I mean, what's not to enjoy about an imperial stout brewed with chocolate, coffee, aged in maple syrup bourbon barrels? I mean, to me...
Excuse me while I change my shorts.
Yeah. To me, it doesn't get any better than that. It's a great beer. Those guys do some great things. I will tell you, there was one beer, if I had to pick a number 7, though, this is pretty common in grocery stores now.
We should
he's breaking the rules.
Dragon's Milk Stout by New Holland, also out of Michigan, is a phenomenal stout. And those are my 1 and 2 beers have to be the stouts by Founders. Those guys do great work. If anybody...
I almost put Dirty Bastard on my list. That's probably an honorable mention.
Oh,
by Founders.
man.
I love that Scotch ale. Oh, it's
there you go.
so
Honorable
good.
mention.
Lucky, I will tell you right now, if there's a Dirty Bastard anywhere, that's what I'm buying.
Yeah.
Dirty
yeah.
Bastard.
I mean, that's like every time I see it at the
100%.
store, I have to get it.
And you know what's kind of interesting? For a Scotch ale, I think is the style of beer that the Dirty Bastard is called. For a Scotch ale, they're the only ones I enjoy. I've tried a ton of Scotch ales, and they're horrible.
I love the Dirty Bastard. It's very, very, very good.
Yeah, that's a great visit. If anybody's ever around Founders, they're in Grand Rapids. They recently closed their Detroit location, so that's no more. But if you're ever in Grand Rapids, Michigan, that is a stop. That brewery, I remember going there days when people were sitting there in fly fishing gear in their tap room, just coming off the river and drinking beer. Shit, you couldn't get in there if you were fly fishing anywhere around there anymore. Because you're not putting that kind of time waiting in line. So those guys have done some great work in a very crowded beer market. Obviously, everybody knows that, or probably knows that Grand Rapids is one of the Beer City USA winners, but great brewery. Those guys are doing some awesome work, and that's if I had to pick a favorite brewery, that's the one behind me as well. But yeah, the Dirty Bastard is a solid one.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
If we're doing honorable mentions, I'm going to do one to Sierra Nevada Christmas Ale and New Belgium Accumulation, just because they got me into IPAs, which is my first love, because the pumpkin beers led me to
about that
Christmas
too.
beers.
So is
I thought
wait
about
a
that
minute.
too, like nostalgia, like some kind of nostalgic beer.
I got a
still get
question.
them every Christmas.
Let me get
Yes.
a clarification. Sierra Nevada, is it called Christmas Ale or Celebration Ale?
Celebration Ale, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that one.
That is,
with the
yeah. That is a great, man, that is a great
It
beer.
is.
That's probably one of the
And-
first craft beers that I really enjoyed was that
Yes.
Celebration Ale from Sierra Nevada.
Yes, them and the New Belgium Accumulation, they ruined my palate for Budweiser. So thanks to those two beers, InBev lost a lot of money.
Yeah. That Celebration Ale is great, though. Every year that it comes out, I have to pick some up. I'm not lying to you. I'll get it. We've already gone through a 6-pack here because it's just a solid beer that they do really well every year, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
And it changes. I'll be honest with you. It's kind of like there's a
Anchor?
there's a Anchor. I've had Anchors, and also the one out of Asheville. It's slipping my mind right now, but they do a
Wicked Weed,
No, not Wicked Weed.
Burial.
No, this is a big one. A big brewery in Asheville.
Oh no.
Yeah, you know
I was going to say Sierra Nevada because they have Sierra
No.
Nevada there now too.
It's just the one that's there in Asheville. But those guys do a great job with a Christmas beer, and it is completely different every year that it comes out. Some years it is phenomenal. Other years you're like, man, I could do without it. Cold Mountain. Cold Mountain is the name of the beer. Who is it that makes it? Who?
I don't know.
What's that?
Oh,
Brewing.
Highland.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yep, Highland Brewing Cold Mountain is, and it's one of my wife's favorites. That's why she could hear me. She was the one that was yelling in here what it was. But those guys do some great work with that Christmas, that cold brew. It's phenomenal, but it's kind of interesting because it changes so much. So if you're into it, I'll see if I can find some and send to you guys because I think you guys would enjoy it.
One that I have to, if we're doing honorable mentions, quick. The Cali Creamin that Matt sent me. I know Matt's in the chat. That's why I'm saying this. That was very, very, very close to being on my top. It tastes just. If you haven't done a beer exchange with Matt, do one if you're in the Hops News family. That Cali
me, by the way.
Creamin taste. What was that?
Not me, by the way. There's another Matt.
didn't
in
like
Hops
it?
News.
Oh
No,
no,
it
no.
wasn't
Okay,
me.
yeah. Sorry.
I'm saying
I didn't know
not
what you were
me,
saying.
Matt.
Yeah.
You're
but
not
that
Matt, you're
Cali Creamin
Mash.
taste.
I don't know
Yeah,
what
you're
I am.
Mash. That
Who
was-
am I?
The Cali Creamin. I mean, it tastes just like cream soda, and that's something I could drink forever. It was so good. He sent me two, and I drank them both within.
Who is that?
Matt.
Whitwer?
Whitwer?
Matt Whitwer.
Man, I might have to
Whitwer.
get some of those from you.
Feds are
Matt.
coming to his doorstep
They
now.
are.
Dun,
they
dun,
are
dun.
so.
Hey, they
so
better
good.
check out
Shout
Hoppy.
Matt. That
She sent
was-
me some beer through U.S. Postal Service too. So
Yo.
Because you guys kept sending me those flat rate boxes, and I keep getting in trouble for spending so much on beer. So start.
Hoppy's like, shut the fuck up, will you?
I prefer to send it FedEx, but FedEx is pricey, man. It's so pricey.
Man,
But
just
anybody who's
send it-
gotten beer
flat
from
rate.
me, I mean, I double bag that stuff. I'm very anti-plastic bag unless I'm packing beer.
I was gonna say you sent me like a family pack of Ziploc bags for the last 4 beers you sent.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's go check out some news. Who do we have lined up for news?
Does
Lucky.
Mash might have to. Yeah.
What's-
Mash? Do you
Hey,
want to sign off?
I
Mash
gotta
might have
hop
to
off.
go.
My wife has a school thing tonight that I forgot about.
Oh, let's go check in with Mash then. Mash, parting shots, last words. Where can people find you? What do we expect from
Yeah.
geeks?
Sorry, everybody. I didn't mean to crash the party. Yeah, some upcoming things for Hops Geek is we're going to record our favorite Christmas movies episodes with fun facts. That's going to come up sometime this week, and that'll be out Monday of next week. We just recently recorded with Woodland Empire, Rob and Keeley, fantastic human beings. They're out of Boise here. They're like the third biggest brewery in Boise. They are amazing. You can find me at Matthew Tyler, whether it's on Twitter or Instagram. And you'll just hear me bitch about the Packers on Sundays on Twitter if that's what you're into. And then, yeah, Hops Geek News on Instagram. That's where we can be found.
Awesome. Well, Mash, I'm looking forward to your next episode of Geeks. You guys definitely keep me abreast of the comic world that I am completely out of touch with at this point in my life, but definitely miss it and then enjoy listening to you guys. So appreciate you joining us, and thank you again. Do you have did you have some news?
I did. So real quick, the Guinness non-alcoholic beer has been recalled in the United Kingdom for anybody who might be listening to this from there due to microbiological contamination. So stay away from the Guinness non-alcoholic that they just rolled out.
Damn.
Gross.
May have the corona in it.
Uh-oh.
Who in Europe is drinking non-alcoholic beer is what I want to know.
Fuck, there's probably a bunch of them because it's pretty popular
Probably.
right now. Yeah,
Huh.
you're going to see I just got an email a couple of days ago from one of the groups that I'm in, and there's a bunch of big breweries that are jumping on that board. Lucky, I think you have some. That's not Lucky.
Nope.
That's Hoppy. Lucky, I think you have some news as well. Lucky, what's your news?
So, mine was there was I believe it was Mash that posted it in the Hops News family, but I wanted to talk about it, and we probably will, maybe in more depth on the next Feeling Lucky, unless you guys want to talk about it now. But Waffle House has teamed up with a Georgia-based brewery called Oconee. What is that word? I don't know.
Oh, what?
Oconee Brewing, Oconee. That's how you spell it. Oconee, is that Oconee?
That sounds correct.
Sure.
Oconee Brewing Company, to offer the first Waffle House branded beer called Bacon and Kegs. So it's a bacon-styled beer. So the question would be, I think most everybody would try it. Maybe not. I think there were some people that said in the Hops News family that they wouldn't try it. But if you would, is there anything that you wouldn't try that's bacon flavored?
Okay, so I haven't eaten bacon in over 20 years, and I would try it.
Why? What? Why?
What?
When I
Hold,
I don't eat-
wait. Is there a record scratch sound?
Yeah,
What
I know.
the fuck are we? Wait a minute.
So,
How are
you'll
you on
eat
the
fucking
show?
Salad
I'm a
with
fake-
vinegar.
What?
You'll eat salad
You'll
with
eat a-
vinegar flavored beer, but you won't eat bacon.
What?
There's something
I'm
wrong
a
with
fake vegetarian. I only eat poultry and seafood. So when I was like 13, I had a stepsister that I thought was really cool, and I still think she is cool. And she was a vegetarian, so I told my mom I was going to be a vegetarian, and my mom's like, yeah, this is just a phase, ha, ha, ha. And my dad's like, well, what do I do with these pork chops? You love pork chops, and you're not going to eat them. And I haven't eaten red meat or pork since. So it wasn't a
you.
phase.
Frank,
I started eating
salad
chicken.
with
Right.
beer on it.
Well, I used to eat nothing with a
salad
face. I started eating chicken when I got pregnant with my oldest, and it's just much easier to order food if you eat that stuff. But I would try anything in a beer.
Okay. Yeah, that's. But yeah, I
got the same
Lucky.
response. I have like a text chain of beer friends, and they sent this the other day, and that was my response. And they're all like, "What the fuck? You don't eat bacon? How are you like beer? Don't they go together?" I had more than one friend send me this.
No, this is.
We've got to start doing screening a little bit tighter.
I know, right? What the heck? Who are we letting on?
You were really getting to know each other. We did not see this coming.
Yeah, Christ. This just took like a left turn. It's like, wait a minute, she's got balls?
I mean, you're basically saying the same thing. That would have maybe surprised me less.
It's my
than
same.
you not
It's the
having
same
eaten bacon.
reaction. It's like, wait a minute.
That
Wait
would
a
have
minute.
surprised me less.
Hoppy's
than you
got
not having eaten
nuts?
bacon for 20 years.
Yeah.
I do. I'm married. I have nuts.
Gross.
Josh.
On other news, I opened another beer. Omega Gang Neon Rainbows Hazy IPA is quite delicious.
Yeah, I bet. So,
Oh,
Jay, I
wow.
guess this is a conversation for you and I.
Yeah. God.
Is there anything? So, do you remember what bacon tastes like?
No. No, I don't remember what burgers taste like either. I had we went somewhere before COVID hit. It was like an Impossible Burger, and a friend of mine recommended it. And we went there, and I was like, wow, this is the best veggie burger I've ever had. And my husband takes a bite. He's like, yeah, it tastes like a hamburger. That's why. I was like, oh, those are good.
I tried a bite of a Burger King Impossible Burger. They had them for a while. And
Yeah, I heard that. I
mean,
won't
it
eat
was
Burger King.
it was basically the same thing as their Whopper, but just like $8 instead of $2. Wasn't much
Great.
different.
Nice.
Mash chimes in. This is timely. I have a bacon porter from Funky Buddha I've been sitting on, is what Mash
I
says.
sent him. I don't know if that's actual bacon or if it's just like the smoky flavor. So I've probably had bacon in beer because I've tried many a bacon beer. I love the bacon beers because they're usually just like smoky.
Micah says, I've been a vegetarian and vegan in the past, and the withdrawal from bacon was real, yo. Hey,
I mean,
man, you're not telling me anything I don't know. I will tell you. So I've recently tossed around the idea of getting back into hunting, and I'm getting ready to book a trip to South Carolina just to hunt hogs.
Oh God, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Fresh ass bacon. Oh,
Yeah. I mean, that is
Literally fresh ass bacon. Yeah.
fresh ass bacon. Exactly.
It's going to be delicious. Hey,
My kids
was
all
there-
eat meat. That's so I don't like limit them.
So I think I've said before that I would try like bacon flavored shit. Is there
Yeah.
anything you wouldn't eat? If
Well,
it
lucky. So
was
this
flavored like bacon.
Yeah, so a friend of mine and I got into the conversation the other day. We were talking about hog hunting, and I told him, I said, "Listen, I don't need a trophy. I mean, I've shot a pretty good sized buck in Michigan when I was in high school. I don't need anything I can hang on the wall. I just want to put meat in the refrigerator." And he's like, "Have you ever had
Right.
boar?" And I'm like, "I've never had boar." He's like, "Well, do you know what it tastes like?" I said, "Dude, have you ever had bad pulled pork?"
Oh no.
I mean, you could put a shoulder of a goddamn car tire on a smoker for 18 hours, and the fucking thing is edible. I guarantee
so
you.
true. I mean, literally anything that is flavored like that.
Yeah.
I don't think you could put it in front of me and be like, "Oh yeah, this tastes like bacon," and I wouldn't at least take a bite.
Yeah.
I don't.
You're like,
I don't know.
that spent 18 hours on the smoker. I'm going to eat that motherfucker. Hog's ass. I don't care. Foot, hoof. It's going to taste good.
I will eat the hog's asshole. I will eat the
Yeah.
direct
Jesus.
pull.
If it's smoked for 18 hours, it's going to be good. I promise you that.
1,000%.
You guys have convinced me. Talking about pigs' assholes, I'm back on board.
That's what you've been missing out on for 20 years.
Yeah. Jump
More
on the
than 20
bacon.
years.
Fact
Yeah.
that I would just.
God.
It's unreal.
Just
I
when
just- I
you
mean,
think you know a person. You know what? This
know,
is
right?
why
The
is why
fucking
guys
nerve.
always are hesitant about asking somebody to marry them. Is situations like
We've been at this for how many months now? And in the past
Oh,
3 weeks,
Jesus
you put fucking
Christ.
beer on salads and you don't eat bacon. This is
Yeah.
just.
God.
I'll drink bacon, but
Yeah. I guess. I don't know, man. You think you know.
you think you know someone.
Happy,
It's too
I think you need to join the Feeling Lucky crew over.
So they can just rag on me for not
I was
eating
gonna
bacon.
say, you will not get a word in. We will just sit there and be like,
Hey.
"What is wrong with you?" for an hour. Beer on salad.
Speaking of feeling
That's
lucky,
my mom
not
voice.
eating bacon.
feeling lucky, parting shots. Lucky, I would tell you, the biggest kick I've got out of your show has been your fucking interns.
They may or may not have put in their resignation.
Yeah, when you actually had them in the room and you're like, will you guys shut the fuck up over there? I would tell you, man, I was in damn tears. And then this last episode, they weren't even there and you were talking shit about them. I was like, man.
I don't know if Beef and JJ want me to say, but the interns are their girlfriends that sometimes stick around. You could probably use context clues and figure that out.
Yeah.
And it annoys the fuck out of me when they're there. And they were really only there for like 2 episodes. It's too funny.
Yeah.
I don't think they're listening, but if they are, I do love you guys, just not when we're fuck her. I don't have to, so someone's gotta. It's not me.
Yeah. Man.
So feeling lucky, we just shot. I feel like people are gonna start saying I'm like disingenuous when I say this, but it was one of my favorite interviews ever. We went to New Barons Brewing Company. If we want a good guest, Heidi and Justin would be phenomenal guests to have on here. It's a super interesting. They're the only co-op brewery in Wisconsin, so I hadn't even heard of a co-op style brewery. But I'm also a part owner of New Barons Brewing. Feeling Lucky is owner of New Barons Brewing. So they were an awesome guest. We sat down with them for almost an hour, and we tried to keep them to a half hour, but we just couldn't stop talking to them. So we shot that on Monday. That'll be coming out next Tuesday. This past Tuesday, we just had another episode where we bullshit around, which I think sometimes people like more than the actual interviews. But it's so much fun. It's such an awesome interview. New Barons, we're going to be doing, I think, a lot with them in the future. Awesome Milwaukee brewery, awesome concept. That's what's coming up. Subscribe to Hops News everywhere and listen to us. It's a lot of fun. We're having so much fun doing it.
Yeah, you guys are doing great stuff with Feeling Lucky, man. I will tell you, it's a group of, it feels like a group of college kids just having fun around the mic with beer in their hands.
Yeah,
so
we're not far. I guess Producer Beef is still technically in college, but me and JJ certainly aren't far removed. Our lifestyles, you would think we're still in college, but not far removed. I guess it's only been 2 years, 3 years, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Awesome, man. And I always enjoy your episodes. And just so everybody knows, we'll go back to the 3 of us again. You get kind of an early access peek at their episodes if you're an Hops News family member. And we'll drop the link to join the Patreon. There it is in the chat here on Facebook. If anybody else is interested to listen to this episode on podcast, simply Google Hops News Patreon and you'll find us there. Join us and you'll have the early access to the podcast with these guys. And I will tell you, I'm not shitting you. Every Wednesday morning, I am in damn tears driving to work, listening to those fools talk about the shit that they're doing up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It is great. Obviously, Beef is a military guy. I can relate a lot to what he talks about for sure. So it's always fun. And man, you guys are crushing it. You guys have come a long way from episode 1 of what you guys did. If you go back and listen to it, you'll be surprised.
Yeah, this interview, seriously, like if you, obviously we're trying to be like a comedy podcast. We talk about a lot of bullshit and whatever, stuff that's funny. But this interview, it's so interesting. They're awesome people, and we're going to be doing a lot of stuff, hopefully with them in the near future. New Barons they're small. They're probably the smallest brewery that we've had on to date. In Milwaukee, but just an awesome idea. The fact that we all own a brewery now, and get to make like real decisions on what happens in it is really cool. So it was just, we talked to him for an hour, and so tune in to Tuesday's episode, please. It was awesome.
Yeah, good stuff. Hoppy, Geeks, parting shots, and where can people find you outside of a barbecue joint?
We go to a lot of barbecue joints because Josh loves barbecue. So whenever we travel, we're looking for breweries and barbecue. So if you ever want to know which, combine NOLA Brewery in New Orleans, great barbecue, great beer. So that's the places we do look for.
Well, tell Josh to stop by the house the next time you guys are up, and we'll have some good barbecue.
Oh yeah, he absolutely loves barbecue. Yeah, he looks for them like I look for breweries, and they always have good poultry. But you can't get any vegetables without bacon in them at these barbecue places.
Yeah, there's a reason for that, and it's. I'm done. I can't.
All right. So Mash kind of already did our parting shots a little bit. If you do follow us or you want to keep up to date with stuff, Hops Geek News is where we post all the stuff that is specifically related to what we're basically doing. And like Jay was saying, we start off every episode with the recent geek news. If you do already follow us, you saw Wonder Woman sneak peek is coming to HBO Max on Christmas Day. So they're no longer going to be holding it back from us. We can finally watch it, but you got to have HBO Max and it's going to be Christmas Day. So that's the kind of news that we do. Anything basically you would see at Comic-Con, we'll talk about. Our next episode next week, we're going to be giving you lots of fun facts, like Mash said, about Christmas movies. We did one on horror movies, which I actually really enjoyed listening to because Mash was the one who did most of the research because he's big into horror movies. So I thought, well, let's do one on Christmas movies. So yeah, our recent one with Woodland Empire was great. We'll probably have to have them on a Hoppy Hour in the future. We just talked to them for a little bit, and super great couple to listen to. They own the brewery together, and music inspires their beer recipes. So I feel like there's like a million more questions we could have had for them. And as far as Feeling Lucky, I've had not listened to all of them because every time the kids come in, I have to stop it. So I listen to the ones that I can.
Mash brought up you guys having the E. That was I was so happy that for a little while, at least, we were the only podcast on the platform that had the E. I think we earned it. Honestly, we talked about.
I was surprised when we had
a lot
it.
of stuff. Yeah, right.
I think it's honestly just curse words we don't even realize we're saying.
Yeah. So here's the deal with the E. They haven't told me, but I've listened to your first couple of episodes. If you go back and look at it, nobody has the E. But I finally got the chance to listen to Feeling Lucky, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. I better stick a fucking E on everything these guys produce, or otherwise we might get shut down. And then I had the chance to listen to Geeks News, and I'm like, well, they're really not feeling lucky, but every once in a while there's a shit, there's a damn, there's a fuck. And I'm like, yeah, I better stick it on there before they end up threatening us and shutting us down in every platform that has kids on it. So, but yeah, the first Feeling Lucky I listened to all the way through, I'm like, God damn, the tires screeched in the truck. I'm pulling out the laptop. I'm like, man, I got to get an E on all these fucking episodes.
And it's just gotten worse. I mean, that was the first episode. We are now 16. We'll be dropping on Tuesday. So it's just gone downhill.
If they had an X-rated one, I would fucking choose that for every episode that you guys produce.
I mean, the fact that it's beer, nobody under 21 should be listening anyways.
Exactly. That's what we say.
Yeah.
So.
No, I appreciate you guys. It's great to listen to what you guys are doing, and it's great. I'll be honest with you. It is awesome. If you remove yourself from where we were when we started this in April, Lucky, I think it was.
Yep.
The end of April. If you go back and listen to that and watch where we were today, just the quality, especially of the sound and the content that we were producing then is just ridiculous. I mean, you guys have come a long ways, and I couldn't be more proud of and happy of what you guys are producing. Between the Geeks News and Lucky, Feeling Lucky is some great content. So that leads me to, Lucky was involved in this conversation a little bit. Goal for Hops News going into 2021, and this is going to be a first for a lot of these guys, is to diversify a little bit. I want to make that a real goal for us, and with that, we will help anybody, or not anybody. We're going to choose somebody to help get to the point where they've got a good audience. They're producing a good show, and they're putting out some great content. I feel like we've done pretty well with who we are in the 3 shows that we're producing now. So 2021, my goal is by the end of the first quarter, we'll have a more diverse show that we're also a part of producing. I don't know how we're going to get there, but it's a goal. I have some ideas. I think asking for some submissions of pilot episodes like we did with Feeling Lucky, I think is a good route. But I would expect before the end of this year, I'll talk to these guys, and Mash included, and come up with a way to get to that point. But I definitely want to get there. I think that, I mean, I'm not naive to know that if you look on this side of the beer industry, everybody looks like myself, Mash, and Lucky. Obviously, Hoppy is out of that norm, and she's the one saving grace that we have right now. But it is very much. That's
why I'm not getting fired for not eating bacon and putting beer on my salad.
We'll keep you around just to keep that box checked.
Yeah, right.
Great. So it's affirmative action. Nice.
Yeah,
exactly.
We'll keep you around to keep the box checked.
We need to meet a quota. We need to meet.
I'm a quota. Damn it.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's funny because you by far know the most about beer out of any of us.
Yeah, so. Of course. Yeah, and that's, and that doesn't go to say, I mean, it's not uncommon, really. And as everybody knows, if you know the history of Hops News, Brotherly Love. We've had him on a couple of shows. I would love for him to join us some more.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah, he is just very much a gypsy and a wild soul still. So he doesn't have a lot of time to devote to us, and I completely get it. He supports us 100% in what we're doing, and he's still very much involved in who we are as a creative process from day one. But I really want to support somebody's show, a group's show, about being a part of the Hops News, and I don't know if a network is the appropriate name for us right now, but the Hops News channel, right? What we're producing. So, if anybody's out there that knows of a good group of people that are producing great content that cover the beer industry, and it doesn't have to be, anything niche or anything like that you may feel would be a good part of what we're doing and help us diversify a little bit. Definitely point them in our direction. I think we'll do some sort of, produce a pilot. Let us talk about it. Let us pick out a couple of people that we're interested in working with, and kind of going from there, because we've done a lot. We can do a lot. We've got some resources that are building behind us with a website and equipment and that sort of thing. And I would love to be a part of helping somebody get their voice out there. And another group would be great. But that is kind of the goal for us. A lot to bite off on because it's not easy, but I think it's pretty realistic with who we are and what we're doing here.
When do we have Mobcraft coming on?
First week of December, I believe.
If you guys have not yet checked out the Lager and Listen,
let's do it. Let's do it.
Check them out. I hooked them up with Danny. She's gonna be
a great idea.
She's going to be a guest on one of their shows. What they're doing is absolutely awesome. It's Henry from Mobcraft. He's the founder of Mobcraft, and Ayrton from MKE Black. Go check out, I think it was episode 14 of Feeling Lucky. 14 or 13, maybe 13. Whatever the Mobcraft episode was, they were awesome. And yeah, Matt's in the Mash is in the comments right now saying Lager and Listen is why they're coming on. So
there we go.
They're doing it once a month. We'll be able to talk to them a lot about that. But they're doing awesome things, and it's super, super cool. So check them out. And yeah, maybe we can talk to them.
Awesome.
I know.
So what we need to do, I'm going to leave this up to you, Mash. I think he's still listening. Mash and Lucky. Let's organize Danny and somebody from the Lager and Listen. Let's do kind of a kickoff, maybe sometime the middle of December, of what we're going to do. And we'll put some heads together and figure out what it is. But my idea is let's give a first quarter, promote, submit your pilot episode. And it doesn't have to be a true pilot. If you're already producing content that you think might be appropriate, just submit one of your episodes to us. Let us take a listen, and we will definitely do what we can to help, for one, bring you on what we're doing and our followers and our network, but two, help you grow as well, and maybe even provide some mentoring if you're kind of new to what we're doing. But run that by Danny and the Lager and Listen folks, and see if they would be willing to be a part of that next show to kind of kick that initiative off, because it's definitely something. It's something that definitely we need to be a part of, I think, as a group, and help bring some more people that aren't like us, Lucky and Mash, into this kind of beer culture, especially on our side of the mic. I mean, this is easy. I definitely can't teach somebody how to brew a beer, but I can teach people how to talk about beer and get in front of a mic and sound and look professional with it. So,
well, yeah, go. I mean, listen. I know you guys have both definitely listened to the Bobcraft episode, but that interview, it's awesome what they talk about, because that's exactly what they're trying to do. Milwaukee is the most segregated city in America. And they're really trying to, Ayrton, I think his best line was like, I hate walking into a brewery and there being like 3 other black dudes. And it's like, oh my God, this is Mecca. Like, this is like the best thing that's ever happened. So he's for sure trying to like, that's kind of what they're trying to do in Milwaukee specifically, but it's a much bigger discussion, obviously, today's day and age. So
I walked into a brewery this afternoon, and Brotherly Love was there. He was the only black guy in the joint.
Yeah,
hugged him like he was a brother, like he was family. Talked to him. I agree, man, and I think that what we're doing, it's not difficult to help promote somebody or a group of people. So we'll see if we can find people that like bacon and
and replace me.
Yep.
You're irreplaceable, Hobby. We definitely appreciate you. There's a lot of shit that wouldn't get done if we didn't have a Hobby. Half of people wouldn't know what the hell we're going to do from night to night if it wasn't Hoppy. So definitely appreciate you. But let's put our heads together and get those guys on an episode after the second and kind of launch the initiative that we're going to take on coming the new year, because I think it'd be a good time to talk about it. I know Mash isn't here to talk about it. I definitely apologize for that, Mash, but Lucky was there towards the end of Danny's show that I mentioned it to her. I think I've mentioned it to you guys before, but it's definitely something that's easy for us to do and to be a part of and help with that. And it adds a little bit more content to what we're doing. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. All right, folks. Appreciate you joining us. It's been another great episode. Follow us, like us, subscribe to us on all.
Love us.
Yeah, just give us some love on all those social media platforms. We're easy to find at Hops News, not difficult. Look for this episode. We will put this episode on podcast very soon for those people that are in our Hops News family. If you're not in our Hops News family, look for it a week from now when it'll launch on all of our platforms for podcast. And do us a big favor. If you're on Apple, go subscribe to us and give us a rating and a review there. That would be greatly appreciated. Thanks for joining us.
I need to do that. I haven't figured out how to review us. I've subscribed to us, but I was like, where do I review?
Yeah, it's been a great episode, folks. Appreciate you joining us. Cheers.
Love you guys.
Cheers. It's because I don't eat bacon. It affects my brain.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have to.
No,
It's a stimulant,
can you
right?
review on?
It's like a stimulant.
Can you review on Spotify? I couldn't figure that out either.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe I should look on the computer.
Maybe not. You can follow.